A single rule change caused goals to increase by 43% in one season. Not because of a new tactic, not because of better players, because somebody changed 2 words in a rulebook. The offside rule has been rewritten, broken, fixed, and broken again for over 160 years. And in 2026, right now, football is about to change it again. Stay with me, because the proposal they are debating right now will either fix football forever or cause the biggest controversy the game has ever seen. By the end of this, you will know the full history of offside, from the original rule that killed goals to the change that saved the game to the debate happening in 2026 that nobody has settled yet. Football needed a rule to stop one very annoying thing. Players standing next to the opposition goalkeeper, doing nothing, waiting for the ball. In 1863, the Football Association wrote the first rule book, and offside was in it from day one. The rule said, you need at least 3 opposition players between you and the goal to be onside. 3. The goalkeeper plus 2 defenders. If there were only 2, you were offside. Simple in theory. In practice, defenders exploited it immediately. They pushed up the pitch together, caught attackers offside, and killed every attack before it started. Goals dried up. Crowds got bored. And by the 1920s, the game was in trouble. Which brings us to 1925. And a change so dramatic that the entire football world still feels it today. The Football Association dropped the threshold from 3 players to 2. You now only needed the goalkeeper and 1 other defender between you and the goal. 1 fewer player. That is all it took. The following season, goals per game jumped from 2.58 to 3.69. A 43% increase. In one season, because of 2 words. Managers panicked. Defenses had to completely restructure how they lined up. It forced the invention of the center back position as we know it today. The entire shape of modern football, the back 4, the defensive line, every formation you have ever seen, traces back to that one rule change in 1925. But here is the problem nobody saw coming. The rule that saved football in 1925 eventually broke it in a completely different way. And that story involves a camera, a freeze frame, and a player's armpit. The 2-player rule is still the rule today. But when VAR arrived at the 2018 World Cup, something changed. Before VAR, offside was judged by a human linesman raising a flag in real time. Close calls went to the attacker. That was the tradition. VAR changed the tradition. Now, cameras freeze frame the exact millisecond a ball is played and draw a geometric line to measure every body part. Head, shoulder, knee, foot, anything you can score with. Not your arm. You cannot score with your arm. Which is why, in matches across the Premier League and Champions League, perfectly good goals were canceled because a player's shoulder or armpit was 2 centimeters past the last defender. The armpit. A 2-centimeter armpit disallowed your goal. More VAR. Everyone's favorite development. And here's the real problem. A player 2 centimeters offside has no meaningful advantage over a player 2 centimeters onside. The precision of the technology exposed a flaw that has been in the rule since 1863. So what is football doing about it in 2026? The answer will either fix everything or start the argument all over again. IFAB, the body that writes the laws of football, has been actively discussing a change to the offside rule. The proposal give attackers the benefit of the doubt. If any part of the attacker's body is still in line with or behind a last defender, they are onside. In other words, you are only offside if your entire relevant body is clearly ahead of the defender. No more armpit calls. No more 2-centimeter lines. In theory, this fixes the biggest source of fan frustration with VAR. But here is what that rule change actually means for defenders. And this is the part that nobody is talking about. If attackers get the benefit of the doubt, defenders lose their primary weapon. The offside trap, where a defensive line holds its position to catch an attacker, becomes far riskier to run. Because a centimeter that used to be a flag is now a goal. Goals will go up. Defensive lines will drop deeper. The shape of the game will shift again, just like it did in 1925. The same argument. A different century. A different centimeter. The offside rule started as a fix for lazy attackers. Then it accidentally invented modern defensive football. Then technology made it more accurate than any human could understand in real time. And now, in 2026, football is trying to decide whether accuracy was the point or whether it was always about feel. The rule has not changed since 1925. What changed is how precisely we can break it. Subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. It means a lot.